Yeah. Otbspreads prediction show coming to you guys live on May 29th. Where it is F the Books Friday, MLB best bets. Man, yesterday was a average day out of MLB. I wouldn't say it was, a home run by any means. It was a 6-game slate. We win about 500 on the slate. Our best look was the White Sox. That to me felt like one of the better plays, but we just didn't know if Bradley was going to go or not. And when they said Bradley wasn't going, we ended up just going heavy on the White Sox, man, and a lot of people cashed. It was nice. Standalone game there at 2 o'clock. Pittsburgh, very surprising, couldn't get it done against the Cubs. Bats woke up a little bit for the Cubs, but still, the Bats just couldn't get going for the Pirates. It was one of those games where Skeens did his part. I felt like he kept them pretty off the board, scoreless through 4, and then he gave up 1, and then he was able to keep them off the board for another 2 innings. Pirates couldn't generate runs. At the end of the day, it's about who has the most runs at the end of the game. Pirates couldn't get it done yesterday, and they weren't even up against a tough pitcher. That's just the review that. We had the Rangers as well. Evoldi's been solid on the season, but this Astros team continues to hit the ball really well. In this spot, the Rangers have now lost, I want to say, 5 out of their last 7. I just can't keep going back to the well with this Rangers team. Even when they have good pitching on the mound like tonight with Gore, I think we'll get into that later and talk about it a little bit more. But pretty much that's it, guys. Really good slate ahead of us today. We cashed on the Spurs yesterday. That was a big play for us. It kind of salvaged the day out of MLB not really being as sharp as we would have liked. But look, we're going to go back to the well here today. There's plenty of games to pick from. I love the matchups a lot more today than I did yesterday out of that 6-game slate. Last 2 days have been solid out of the MLB, but we're looking to have a blowout type of day. Let's see if we can have one of those days like we had earlier in the week where we were going 10-4, 11-3, 9-5. Let's see if we can have a day where we're really in command of the slate and we're not just a shade above 500. So let's get into it. Let's get to the show. And before we go, guys, I just want to go ahead and say today's show was brought to you guys by Novig. All right, spend 5, get 50. Use code word on the ball when you register. You will get $50 in free bets. I love Novig. It is legal in most states, especially if you're out there in Texas, man. Texas doesn't have a lot of options, but you have Novig, man. So please go ahead, sign up, use the code word on the ball, and let's get into it, guys. Here's today's show. All right, first up on the board, we're going to have the Atlanta Braves taking on the Reds. Let's get into this. I'm going to pull the slate stack up here for you guys. And before we dive in, just remember what we're looking at is Blowout Alert. Blowout Alert is the best data and analytics sports betting app. And not even for that, for the purpose of if you guys want to use it for your fantasy leagues, if you want to use it just to track stats for your favorite team. Best data and analytics across the industry. Highly recommend you grab it. We've got batting signals over here, guys, where you can go ahead and pull it up. You can go over here to home runs. If Slate Stack says to attack a higher game, for example, you go over to Slate Stack here, the Slate summary, and it's going to tell you where the edge is, right? High run environments, Atlanta and Cincinnati, San Diego and Washington, San Francisco, Colorado. You could literally go in here now to the batting signals. You can click on home runs if that's what you want to play today. You can click San Diego, Atlanta, Cincinnati. What were a couple of the other ones? Miami Mets, San Francisco, Colorado. I'm not sure I believe in the San Francisco, Colorado. I think it's just juiced a little bit because of it being in Coors Field and easier to hit home runs. But look, now you can do what I always say. You want to filter for projections, see if you can catch something above a 0.25. If you can get it above a 0.35, it's even better. And then you want to look for rising and pitching edge or value and pitching edge or this here, elite spot with pitching edge. That's saying that Casey Schmidt is definitely a target today in that Colorado Rockies game, and he has an 8.0. So just remember, guys, Casey Schmidt is going to be a big look for us today. I think we also want to take a look at Adames. It's looking like Adames is a guy we want to take a look at. Casey Schmidt. Michael Harris has now went yard 2 out of his last 3. Of course, the game when we needed him, guys, he didn't go yard. But Michael Harris is another look. James Wood, another look. Juan Soto, obviously, another look. He's not there on the matchup side of things, but it's Juan Soto, and he's been hot. I'd give it a look. All right, but that's the batting signals, guys. There's a whole nother page here on the next page if you wanted to go and sign up on Elite today. You can go ahead and get all of that information, unlock it. I suggest you at least sign up for free and see what the free props look like and what information you can get out of the free side, man. So let's dive into the slate now. This is Blowout Alert. It's in the descriptions tab. Just follow the link for Blowout Alert. And if you want my premium plays, today we are running a special because it's a smaller slate. And I want you guys to lock in today. Let's build the bankroll because tomorrow on Saturday is going to be insane. From Game 7 in the NBA, Western Conference Finals, future bet for me riding on the Spurs. We got PSG and Arsenal Champions League final. We also have a massive MLB slate tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow is the day. So go ahead and just lock in today. Buy today with 50% off. Use code word 50ball, 50ball, B-A-L-L, 50ball. Go ahead and buy a daily pass. Let it renew. It'll renew at that price, at 50ball price. So let's go ahead and lock you guys in. Let's get it. Let's roll. Let's have a day. All right, first game up, Atlanta Braves, Reds. Look, Chris Paddock hasn't been great. I'm going to try and get through some of these games. We got a larger slate, so I'm not going to talk in depth too much about, the data and the stats and the edges. But in this one, we already know how I feel about the Braves. I think they're some of the best bats in the MLB. The Reds have been inconsistent at times with their bats. Some games they show up and they're crazy. They're hitting the ball really well. But look, Grant Holmes has had a really solid showing this year. I think Chris Paddock has been underwhelming. He gives up a lot of sharp contact. You don't want to give sharp contact up against this hitting order. So give me the Braves here on the money line. I do think it has some value at minus 143. It's under minus 150. You're getting about a 75% return on your play. And yeah, give me the Braves here. Grant Holmes to have a good game. The bats for the Braves to continue going. This is a series for them to bounce back after that Boston Red Sox series where they struggled a little bit at times. But look, they ended up winning the series against the Red Sox. I think this is one of those spots where they can come out here today against the Reds and absolutely take another win and continue to stack on their record here at 36-18. All right, give me the Braves on the money line. Next one up, Twins, Pirates. We were on the Pirates yesterday with Skeens. That's now 3 Skeens losses in a row. We did Skeens play of the day about 2 weeks ago, and it cashed big for us. It was a massive play. I think we did a 10-unit Supermax that day. And, if you guys follow my play of the day, it's normally a 5-unit max. But we upgraded it that day, and it cashed us. Ever since then, Paul Skeens is 0-3 in those starts. So we'll see. It hasn't really been going in the way we want when it's a Skeens start. The bats haven't really been there to back up Skeens here lately. And if they weren't there yesterday, I'm not sure if they're going to be there today against Taj Bradley. That's my opinion, and that's my take. Taj Bradley's looked really good. Mitch Keller was at one point supposed to be the starter. I don't know what's going on here, why it's not Mitch Keller. It's Jared Jones. I don't trust Jared Jones here in this spot versus a Twins team that's been hitting the ball well. They've surprisingly have drove some runs in. They have a weak bullpen, so they have to get runs early. I like the Twins here on the first 5 to get it done with Taj Bradley on the bump. So give me the Twins on the first 5 innings here to get it done. And if you really wanted to play the Twins on the money line, there's a ton of great value at plus 118. But I think all you got to do is play them on the first 5 innings. Give me the Twins to get it done today with Taj Bradley on the mound. All right, moving into this next one, the Padres and the Nationals. You got the Padres at minus 101, Nationals at minus 120. I think that speaks volumes. Herman Marquez on the mound today for the Padres. I thought it was Giolito. I believe it is Giolito. And look, over here on the Washington side of things, you got Schultz going. Paxton Schultz hasn't been bad. Herman Marquez has been decent. But I believe it's Giolito, and these bats can get after either of those guys. Giolito made his MLB debut again after coming off of injuries a few weeks ago. He's looked okay in his starts, but I just can't trust the bats of the Padres going up against Schultz here today. He is a righty. That is my only concern because these bats that have been cold here recently, and it's shown you a lot of pitching risks for those Padres players. Look, Schultz has been respectable. Giolito, respectable. I just trust the bats so much out of this Washington order, a lot more than I trust the Padres. And that's my take and that's my lean. The Washington Nationals at home versus a Padres team. Give me the Nats minus 120 on the money line to get it done today and take the win against the Padres. All right, that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm going on this one. I just trust the bats a lot more. And in a fairly even pitching matchup with Giolito and Schultz, I feel like you got to give the edge to these guys who've been hitting the ball so well in the month of May. And that's where I'm going to go on this one. It's going to be the Washington Nationals minus 120. All right, next one up, we got the Blue Jays taking on the Orioles. Blue Jays, Orioles. This is another one where the Blue Jays are showing Scherzer. If it was Scherzer, give me the Orioles all day long. But it's not. It's Mako versus Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers hasn't looked good in his starts. Let's go ahead and jump in here. He's given up multiple earned runs in all of his starts. He's 0-6 in his last 6. I think that the Blue Jays bats have been solid enough in the month of May. We just saw them win one the other day as well. I think this Blue Jays team can find some runs. They can generate runs. They can win it. There's value at -102 here on the money line. Give me the Blue Jays here today, going up against in my opinion, a poor pitcher, a guy who just has not played well this season. And I think the Blue Jays have good enough bats in Clement, Jesus, Akamoto, Springer, Guerrero, Varshao. I think that top of the order can get to this Orioles team. And this Orioles team who has struggled at times. They've hit the ball really well in the month of May, but they've struggled on the mound and they've struggled with their bullpen. So go ahead and give me the Blue Jays, who I believe can edge them out with the bullpen and edge them out with the bats here today on the money line at -102. All right, moving into the next one, fellas. Let's get it. Guys, remember to sign up for Novig. If you have not signed up for Novig, it's a free $50. You can tail any of these plays, parlay these plays together, and do it with no real exposure except spending $5 to get 50. Once again, just go over to Novig, use code word on the ball when you sign up. And yeah, let's get back into the slate. All right, man. So we're getting ready to jump into the Angels and the Rays. The Rays were off to a blazing start in the month of March and April. Here in May, they've dropped a couple games. Angels have kind of turned the corner and picked it up. I just can't move off of my Tampa Bay Rays. This might be disaster waiting to happen, honestly, because this Angels team has been hitting the ball much better here as of late. But at the same time, the Rays are still the Rays, and I believe they have a really good bullpen. Nick Martinez has continuously, in his starts, played very well. Look at these earned runs. In almost every single one of his starts this season, he has kept the teams under 2 earned runs. Look at this. In his last 6 starts, he has kept them under 1 earned run, only giving up 1 earned run in his last 6 starts. I can't move off of Nick Martinez here. I can't move off of how good the bats are for Tampa Bay. I'm going to play this thing here. I'm going to play it on the run line, -1.5 Tampa Bay, or play the money line at -163. I think that if there's a team that can really get after this Angels team today against Urena, even if it's Kikuchi, Kikuchi, they're about the same cut from the same cloth. There's no pitching edge for the Angels here. The edge for the Angels is the big bats from Soler to Mike Trout to Joe Adele to Zach Neto, Nolan Shano. You know, those guys are their advantage. I think Nick Martinez is a good enough starting pitcher in the bullpen to keep those guys from doing too much damage. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays -1.5 on the run line today at plus money. That's where I'm going to go in this one. All right, guys, moving into the next game, Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Guardians. Who likes what they've seen out of the Red Sox, man? This is a team that I had said I'm going to be careful putting my money on them this season. I'm not going to be careful in this one. I think that the Red Sox here have a clear advantage. I think the advantage not only is here on the mound today against Slade, who has struggled. Look, Slade in his last couple games, 3-2, 0-2, 5-4, 6. He has given up some hits and some earned runs here in these last couple games. Now, this Red Sox team, they've hit the ball very, very well in the month of May. They're taking on a righty who they've absolutely hit righties extremely well in the month of May. I can't move off of the Boston Red Sox here in today's game. I think that this play here at plus money on the money line is definitely worth a look. They went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the MLB this past week. I like the Red Sox here to get it done. I think Samaniego can have a decent enough outing and allow his team to back him up with the bats. If you want to look at some of the stuff he's done this year, innings pitched, he hasn't been in a starting role, so we'll see how he reacts to being in a starting role. He's been more in a relief role. Today he's getting a shot at starting. I'm eager to see how that goes for him, but I've liked what I've seen out of him in his relief roles. I think he can do a good enough job at keeping these bats for the Guardians, who haven't been hitting it all that well, off the board, and allow his guys to back him up with the bats. The edge here today is the Boston Red Sox on the money line, plus money, with the bats backing it up. That's my take on this one, guys. Slade to have another poor outing, the bats to get after him. Give me the Red Sox on the money line after going toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the MLB and continue that trend to hit the righties really, really well in the month of May. All right, next up, we got the Miami Marlins taking on the Mets. Max Meyer on the mound. Is it Max Meyer? I don't think it is. Let me double check this one. Miami Marlins, it is Max Meyer. Oh my goodness. Why are you guys doing this to me? Max Meyer versus Freddie Peralta. I love Peralta, man. I think Peralta is a phenomenal pitcher. I like the way the bats for the Mets have been hitting it. I know Peralta has given up some early runs because he's kind of put runners on base. He's walked some guys. Look, 2 in his last out, 6, 1 and 2. This one where he walks 6 is really what jumps out at me. But even walking 6, he did a good job at keeping the earned runs down. In this game, he gave up a lot of hits against Miami. I can't move off of Max Meyer, guys. I said it again and again. Until Max Meyer gives me a reason not to say he's the edge in the Marlins lineup, I can't move off of it. This is the only take that I'll say is that Peralta is a righty. This Miami team has hit righties really well. So I personally believe there is an edge there. Even though Peralta is an elite pitcher, this team can hit righties well. And then you're facing Max Myers, who in my opinion has been one of the better pitchers in the MLB over the last 6 weeks. I'm going to go with Max Myers. I'm going to go with the Miami Marlins on the money line here at -105. I know that Peralta has been a great pitcher. He's probably the best pitcher in the Mets lineup at this moment for their starting rotation. And the bats they've kind of woken up here in the month of May for the Mets. But I'm not coming off of what I've said, and I'm going to stick to it. Until Max Meyer on the mound gives me a reason to start fading the Marlins when he pitches, I'm not fading the Marlins with Max Meyer on the bump. And yeah, I'm dialing right into this one, guys. Give me the Marlins here on the money line, plus money, -107 plus money, wherever it shakes out, whatever book you can get it on. All right, that's my take on this one with Marlins and Mets. Give me the Marlins on the money line. Next one up. Big slate, guys. Big slate. Appreciate y'all hanging in there with me today. Let's see what we can cook up today. Let's see what type of wins we can get and see how well we can do on this big slate. This is one of those days where I'm going to put out a lot more bank building plays, a lot more 2 legs, a lot more single plays. It's just one of those spots where I feel like I'm going to have my home runs as usual that I drop into my premium passes, but I will be off of player props and no run first innings for the most part today. I may do 1 or 2 no run first innings as like a 2 leg. But I'm going to be off of a lot of these player props today. I'm not going to really sprinkle anything in for hits or strikeouts too much. I really just want to focus on playing these games straight today or playing them as 2 legs, maybe a little 3 to 4 leg parlay sequencing. But yeah, man, that's where I'm going to be at today. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I want to see how much I can stack my bankroll today with being focus driven on bankroll building and honestly seeing where we can shake out so I can go in tomorrow for 2 to 3 really big games. There's an MLB game I'm eyeballing. There is obviously the PSG Arsenal matchup. I've already got that one focused in on. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to the casino today and put big cash down on that game. And then lastly, tomorrow, game 7. You know, I'm eager to see what they give the Spurs tomorrow, man. What do they give the Spurs tomorrow as far as money line goes? What value being in OKC game 7? I've said over and over again in that series, it's all about the whistle. And if you look at the series there, and I'm going to just keep it short and sweet since we're on MLB right now, but as soon as they put the whistles away, the Spurs beat them by 20. The only true game the Thunder beat the Spurs was game 2. After that, it's been a dual and joint effort with the refs and SGA. So go ahead and give me the Spurs tomorrow, I think, guys. I'm just curious to see where it shakes out on the spread and everything. That's not an official call, but I'm excited to see where that game goes. I almost am forced to bet the Spurs with my future play, but we'll see. I'll dive in more to that tomorrow. But let's get back into the slate here. We've got the Cubs and the Cardinals, guys. Cubs and the Cardinals. All right, let me take a sip of my coffee. Cheers to Fuck the Books Friday. Let's make some money. Let's see if we can get a bunch of premium wins today. All right, so on the mound today for the Cubs, looks like they've got going Emanyaga, their lefty ace, versus Palante. Even if it's Leahy, you know, I thought it was going to be Leahy. It looks like it might be Palante. I'm not sure if that's the Cardinals trying to stop the bleeding because they're 1-7 over the last 8 games. I like what I've seen out of the Cubs here recently. I think yesterday was a big win for them. This team has been struggling as of late in the Cubs. I think if there's a spot that they can get right It's with the regression of the pitching for the Cardinals. I've said it over and over again. These Cardinals pitchers are playing above their ceiling, and we saw them kind of take a step back over the last 2 weeks. That's why they're 1-7 in their last 8. I think the Cubs get the win here today on the money line. I like the Cubs a lot in this spot. I like them in the first 5 innings. I think that -132 on the money line is definitely worth a look, and then take them for the first 5 as well. I think the Cubs have an advantage with Emenyaga. I'm hoping he gives up less runs here. Look, in his last 2 starts, 8-7. He hasn't been sharp in his last 2. This is a bounce back spot as a lefty where the Cardinals have struggled to hit lefties at times. Give me the Cubs here today to get the win here. I like this play a lot for these guys against a struggling Cardinals team over the last 10 games. All right, moving into the next one, we have the White Sox taking on the Tigers, where we have, it's Troy Melton or no? It is Troy Melton. They switched up the pitchers on us. Originally, it looked like it was going to be Framber Valdez versus Eric Fetty. Now it's looking like Troy Melton versus Isert. That's a little bit more of an interesting one for us guys, because that changes the way I came into this show wanting to approach this. So just let me take a quick peek here at a couple of things. I still probably am going to lean the original side, but it's probably not as strong of a play as I felt like it would be. Look, Troy Melton hasn't been bad in his starts this season. He's got the 1 start here, 2 hits, 1 ERA run, walked 3 batters, 3 Ks. He doesn't have great strikeout stuff. Fetty's been incredible, but he's not the one starting today. It's going to be Isert. And look, the bats for these White Sox have been on fire. I trust the Detroit Tigers offense a little more than I trust the White Sox going up against decent pitching. This seems like a fairly even match. There's not a ton of edge in this one. If I was forced to pick a side, lean a side, I'm probably not going to bet this one anymore because the pitching changes. I liked him with Valdez on the mound. I like the Tigers with Valdez on the mound in this matchup. But without Valdez, giving me Melton, who doesn't have great strikeout stuff, and then Isert, who doesn't have the best stuff either against this Tigers team that can drive in runs and hit the ball well. To me, I'm just going to lean towards the Tigers here. I trust their bats a little bit more at -115 on the money line. Like I said, not a favorite play of the day. Forced to bet it, forced to lean aside. I'd go the Tigers here today on the money line, as I just trust guys like Kevin McCongle, Colt Keith, Riley Green, Torkelson, Perez, McKinstry, guys like that in the lineup a little bit more. And they got guys who aren't even in the lineup today, like Dingler, a couple others that really can hit the ball and put it in play as well. So give me the Tigers, trust their offense a little bit more. That's my take and lean on that one. All right, Kansas City, Rangers. We already know how I feel about the Rangers. I am going to dive in a little bit on this one because I thought yesterday with Eovaldi was a great spot. It wasn't. Our ladder stalled out on day 4. We're going to start another one today, see if we can run it through the weekend. We're just going to do a simple little 3-day ladder. We're going to take $100, see if we can turn it into, another $800 by the end of the weekend and go from there. Guys, on the mound today, you've got Kolek versus Gore. He hasn't been that sharp in some of his starts. He's given up some hits, but he's found a way to keep the earned runs down. He's been okay at times, but he's also been unreliable at times as well. And his early starts in the season was shaky, and his last 2 much more respectable. I like Kolek. I like the Royals today in this spot. I said this a week ago when they took on the Yankees. When he was on the bump, they beat the Yankees. I called that one at plus money. Mackenzie Gore hasn't been the sharpest. I think that they can get after Gore. This Royals team has hit lefties fairly well. I think there's guys in the order that can really get after this Mackenzie Gore, from Miguel Garcia, Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez. I think you have guys that to look at there, not only for hits, but for home runs. I think they can get after Gore. Gore has definitely shown us bright spots at times. He's kept his earned runs down, but his hits were up really big in the early part of the season. Last couple games, he's looked a lot better. But I'm not going to be here on the wrong side. I think the right side is the bats with the Royals versus a struggling Rangers team. Even when they're getting support from their pitchers, this team has not been driving in runs. I'm going to go with the team that's been scoring the ball here recently in the Royals. They've been going toe-to-toe with some of the better teams in the league, like the Yankees. So go ahead and give me Kolek and the Royals today on the money line. That's what I'm going to go in this one, y'all. At plus money on the Royals versus a Rangers team that's been struggling. All right, that's my lean. That's my look on this one. We've got a couple more games left, guys, on a massive MLB slate. We've got the Brewers taking on the Astros now. And we all know how good the Brewers are. I've said it over and over again, how I feel about them. And with that said, once again, you've got a different pitching matchup posted on the site here. It's going to be Crow versus Tang. And Tang has played really well, really well. If it was Woodruff, I think it's a no-brainer here. I don't even hesitate if it's Woodruff on the mound. Look at how great Woodruff has been, giving up under 5 hits in almost every single one of his starts. His ERA is way down. He's only had 2 games that really exceeded where his average is. And Tang, though, on the other hand, granted, his strikeout stuff has been there the last 2 games. It hasn't really been there in his previous starts. But in the last 2, he's found some strikeout stuff, earned runs at 0. The bats for the Astros have been really hot here as of late. The Astros are at home here. I feel like this could be a spot where the Astros grab a win off of a Brewers team that's putting the wrong pitcher on the mound to open this game up today. Go ahead and give me the Astros at plus money against the Brewers today. That's where I'm going to lean, and that's where I'm going to go for the value. I do think that Tang has another good outing. I think that these Brewers, even though they're great and they can really hit the ball, I just don't trust the starting pitcher they have today in Crow on the mound versus how hot the bats for this Astros team have been in the month of May. So go ahead and give me the Astros to find more runs, edge out the Brewers. I think that this thing could be a look at the under as well overall. Under's right now set at 8.5. I see this game ending maybe in like a 3-5 or a 2-4 type of outing. I just trust the bats for the Astros to generate a few more runs against a weaker pitcher today. Give me the Astros on the money line. All right, moving into the Giants versus the Rockies. Over and over again, the Giants have been a letdown spot. One of the worst teams in the league with the bullpen. One of the worst teams in the league with generating runs with runners in scoring position. You're out there in Colorado where it is a very scorer-friendly ballpark. They hit the ball really well. I know that there's a lean to the Giants today off of our software here with Blowout Alert. I'm not sure I can get behind it. I know that, Logan Webb's on the mound, but Lorenzen has been decent at times. In his last couple starts, look, he's given up 5, 6, 2, and 7. His last couple starts have been rough. Given up a lot of hits. But the Giants here with Logan Webb on the mound, I keep going back to Logan Webb, and Logan Webb just hasn't been who I thought he was this season. Look, 6-6, another here, 4-4. But then he has these games where he looks like Logan Webb. 1 earned run, 7 innings pitched. 3 earned runs, 7 innings pitched. Like, what Logan Webb am I going to get today? Because if I get Logan Webb that keeps the ERA under 2, I think that this Giants team can win it. But the key is, can they do that? Can they edge out the Rockies at home? They have good hitters in this Rockies lineup. I think that the Rockies have a little bit better of a bullpen than the Giants do. So in a close game, I trust the Rockies. But from a starting pitcher perspective, I could easily see these Giants jumping out to an early lead. And if the Giants do that, I think that gives them the room to win this thing with Webb on the mound. So I believe that Lorenzen, with his recent struggles on the mound, Logan Webb, who has potential to keep this game lower scoring, and the Rockies off the board, I got to lean Giants here on the money line today. I can't go to the Rockies. I just can't do it. -157, Giants on the money line. I'll take that play. Not a favorite play by any means because of the inconsistency of Logan Webb and the bats of the Giants. But if the Giants can generate, let's say, 3 runs early, I think that they can hold off the Rockies, find a couple more runs late, and win this thing with 5 to 6 runs on the board. All right, that's my take on this one. Give me the Giants on the money line. Going into the last 3 games of the night, y'all, last 3 games of the night, we're going to go to the Yankees and the A's here, where the Yankees have hit the ball really, really well as of late. Got Rendon on the mound versus Severino. We know how I feel about Severino. He tends to walk guys in the mid-innings. You don't want to walk guys against this Yankees team, man. 2 walks, 4 walks, 2 and 2. Those are all late in the games in his innings where he's averaging about 6 to 5 innings pitched. I think that if you're going to walk some guys in those mid-innings when your velocity and your control starts to go down, you don't want to do it against these bats of the Yankees. I think Rendon is here in this spot today, looking to have a little bit better of an outing. His strikeout stuff has been kind of hot and cold this year as he opened up his first start of the season. 4, 6, 7, it's growing. His pitching looks better. He's getting you more innings deeper into ball games. I think if Rendon can continue to build off of what he has done here recently, we will see Rendon and the Yankees get an easy win here on the money line in Sutter Home. I look for this game to have some home runs on the Yankees side of things as well. Very hitter-friendly ballpark. Give me the Yankees at -143 and give the run line a look as well at -1.5. Yankees all day in this one, guys. That's my lean. That's my take. All right, 2 games left on the slate, guys. You have Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Mariners. Kirby is on the mound today versus Zach Gallen. Both pitchers have been really respectable today. I like both of them. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I think that the bats for the Mariners are solid. Obviously, I think the bats for the Diamondbacks have been one of the best in the MLB in the month of May. Hard to look away from that. George Kirby, though, on the other hand, has played really good baseball. Outside of his start here against San Diego, Kirby has been absolutely fire this year to lean that side. He's got decent strikeout stuff. I believe that Zach Gallen is due for some regression. He has played a good season so far, but we've seen that Zach Gallen has the ability to give up a lot of runs in an inning at times. You know, he had 6 earned runs here, 6 there, 7 there. His strikeout stuff is average, nothing special. His most strikeouts came in the last game against the Rockies, and we know the Rockies lead the league in strikeouts. I trust George Kirby, his strikeout stuff, and the bats for the Mariners a little bit more. I see this game being a little bit closer than probably anticipated. And in a close game, I trust the bullpen for the Mariners, George Kirby to go deeper in the game than Gallen, and the Mariners bats to find some runs. I would look here at the over in this game. I like the over a lot in this game with the edge out to the Mariners on the money line at -144. But I think that the better play out of this matchup is play the over. That's my take, and that's my lean. All right, guys, here we go into the last game of the night. It's the Phillies versus the Dodgers, man. Dodgers have Wroblewski on the mound, Zach Wheeler on the mound. Zach Wheeler, Mr. Wheelin' and Dealin'. This is a tough one because we all know that Wroblewski is a lefty, and he hasn't pitched too great in his last 3 starts. 7 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 5 earned runs. Strikeout stuff has been average in the last couple. We all know the Phillies don't hit lefties well. They just don't. Zach Wheeler, you know, he can really throw that shit, man. He is a great pitcher. Look at what he has done this year. He has 1 game on the whole season where he's given up more than 3 earned runs. It's hard for me to look away from the Phillies here today. I know they don't hit the ball well against lefties, but after Wroblewski's last couple starts, I'm not sure I can trust him against this Phillies batting order full of veterans and guys who can really hit it. Give me the Phillies here today on the money line to upset the Dodgers. I feel like the Phillies are going to come out here and approach this thing like a playoff type game, bring a lot of energy into this one. Give me the Phillies on the money line at -101 against the Dodgers here today. I like them to get it done with Mr. Zach Wheeler, wheeling and dealing once again on the mound. And after us taking Wroblewski last game, I can't trust him to come back out here and follow up. If he couldn't get it done against, you know, a Milwaukee team in his last start where Milwaukee absolutely dog walked him, I don't know if I can trust him to do it again here. You know, the Angels also, they hung some hits on him, 7 hits. You don't want to give up hits to this Phillies team. I can promise you that. So I can't trust him here in this spot until he shows me something and forces me to be on the wrong side today and beats me. I'm going to go with the Phillies here on the value at plus money or right around plus money. All right, that's the show, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Once again, this is Blowout Alert. Make sure to download Blowout Alert. Just go to the descriptions tab, guys. Click the link, sign up for free today. And if you have any questions on it, feel free to drop a comment here, DM me on Instagram, wherever you need to go to get a hold of me. I'm always active on Instagram, active here on YouTube. Make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe. Know the show's running a little bit long, about a 30-minute show today, guys. But yeah, it's one of those days where we have such a massive slate. I want to try to give you as much information, the reasons why and the leans why. We've seen a lot of you guys cash big this week off of this show. So I'm happy that I'm bringing you guys some information that you find useful. Please make sure to drop a like. It does help grow the page if you're just dropping a like. And if you can leave a comment on what you cashed or what you lost even on the day before, that's nice to know, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you guys finding this information useful. Let's book the one way. Let me go ahead and get these plays put out because it is what time back? About 2 o'clock back home on East. I'm out here on the West Coast this week. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Book the one way.